Okay, welcome back. As we continue with the introduction of the toolbars, let's go ahead and move on to the left side toolbar. Now, the first tool is going to be your selection tool. Now, as I said before, it's very useful to create selection sets to where you can hide or lock certain parts of the model. Also, you really don't even have to make the selection set. You just basically select a particular area, right click, and then you can hide it, a various part, whatever you need to. Now, the next one is the second one down is going to be the marquee selection tool. Now, this can be useful if you just want your particular paint stroke. Let me go ahead and show you. Similar to Photoshop, but basically it's just wherever you select the inside of it will get to have the paint stroke applied to it. And as before, with any paint tool, you do have your options of painting modes, colors, pressure sensitivity, radius, opacity, and flow. All right, let's go ahead and move down. Next one's going to be your transform paint buffer. Now this will actually move your paint buffer around if you need to. Okay, next one's going to be your zoom in and out of your paint buffer. Shortcut hotkey to that is Z. Okay, and this next one after that is pan selected. So you just drag it around. And this one here is going to be the one right after the pan selected is going to be your modify vector inspector grid settings. It lets you control the appearance of directional markers for painted vectors. Okay. And then we have blur, which is pretty much like your Photoshop. Let me get a paintbrush here. I'm not used to this layout. Okay, let's zoom in here. Okay, and you got your blur tool. And as you see, you are able to adjust the settings of the blur. Also, you do have your painting modes and all the other settings that do come with the basic paint tool. Alrighty, let's back up a little bit. Okay, next one is going to be actually the next three, which is your Splinewarp tool, Slurp tool, and then the pinup tool. All these will enable you to modify your paint stroke or texture or whatever prior to actually baking down. Now, after you bake it down, you cannot use these. So I'll go ahead and go through each of them and show you. All right, spline warper tool, all you gotta do is drag it out. Now, up and down with the arrows will subdivide or non-subdivide your grid. All you have to do, like I explained earlier, is just drag these little things here. Modify your paint stroke. Okay, and then if you wanted to bake it down, you're able to bake it down. But I'm not going to just yet. I'm going to move on to the Slurp tool. Now, the Slurp tool is similar to the Liquify tool in Photoshop. And as you see, okay. And now the next one is going to be the pinup tool. Now the pinup tool is similar to the warp tool in Photoshop. So put that down, hold shift, go ahead and put markers down here. And then I can modify it as I need to. Okay. After that's all said and done, I can bake it down. It's not pretty, but you get the idea. Go ahead and back up a little bit. Okay. And then after that, we have the basic paint tool. Basic paint tool, P to paint. It's a hotkey for it. We've kind of already went through that. You do have your option of brushes. You can modify your brushes, import Photoshop brushes, save your brushes. Tons of things you can do. It's very powerful. The one right below the basic paint tool is going to be your vector paint tool. Now that lets you draw directional, actually lets you draw vector painting strokes. Now I haven't really used the vector tools a whole bunch lately, so I'm not too experienced with those, but you know where they're at. Also, the one right below that is the eraser tool. Now, short hotkey to that one is E. Okay, and now we're gonna sit there and go to the fun one, paint through images tool. And that one is right below the eraser. And I'm going to create a layer already. And I'm just gonna go ahead and drag that out. Now, you can drag this image around by holding the shift key down and then left click and hold and drag. You can rotate it by holding the control. Okay. And then you can modify it this way by holding control and shift. If you go within the image, you can make the whole thing bigger, but if you just want whether the top, side, or whatever, go out of the image. Okay, and as I said before, just go ahead and paint through it. Now, the great thing about Mari is you're not just stuck with this standard brush when you use this particular tool. You can go over the shelf and pick whatever brush that you want. Now, while I'm on the brushes, since I think it's since Mari 1.6, you do have the option of having a brush icon as you're painting. Shortcut key to that is F5. I usually leave it off, but your option is there. So just pick this little brush here. I'm gonna make it smaller. Go back to that. And then actually, there. That's the right way to do it. As you see, you know, your brush, you got your different settings for each brush. Some of these are, let me size them down. Easy as that. Now we'll get into layers a little bit later, but as you're doing this, you do have your image clone, paint through, and then you do have your options of what painting mode. Now, to speak of that, you are able to, let me get a smaller brush, reduce the size here. You are able to stamp it, repeat, and if you go stamp, repeat, and then stamp again, it will sit there and basically stamp whatever's on the viewport. But the great thing about this option is you can go to your UVs, reduce the size here. See, stamps the whole thing. Comes in quite handy when you're just trying to kind of get some different textures going on there. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. You can reset your image. You got pan lock, scale lock, colors, all that stuff for your brush, but you can pan lock or scale lock the image. And then let's say you mess your image up here. All you have to do is hit reset image, and it will reset it back to the correct size that it was before. Okay, let's move on. You have your, let me hide this tool, layer. You have your gradient tool. Now that comes in handy in certain situations. Now you can modify this, Control Shift, same way as an image, and same way as the marquee selection tool. Everything within this selected area, oops, will only get the stroke applied to it. Let me make this bigger here. And as with the image paint through image tool, you can pick your brush as well. And as you see, works as needed. Okay, next one is going to be clone stamp tool. I'll just get a standard brush for this one. Okay, works like clone stamp tool within Photoshop. And let me see how I want to do this. I'll just go ahead and try not to dive too deep in the textures I have on this, or have a chance to mess them up. But clone stamp tool, all you got to do is hold Control, click it, and as you see, wherever your little black icon there is, it's exactly what's cloning. Also, it does blend the edges, so as you see here, it's a very hard edge. Here it is a little bit more blended. Okay, next one's going to be the toe brush. Now the toe brush is similar to a healing brush and patch tools in Photoshop. Oops. What you can do there, select it, and then you can bake it down. Now it's quite useful, if you want to have a stamp of certain, texture or whatever, you can move it around, duplicate it. I mean, it works out great. There you go. Select that again. Oop, moving too quick. Give it a second, and I can just move that down. Perfect. Now you got your color picker. Now the or eyedropper, whatever you want to call it. Color picker. You have the shortcut hotkey is going to be J. Got your color picker there, and then you have. Let me switch this to the basic paint tool, which is going to be C. So instead of just jumping to it, you're just going to hit C, and you can pick whatever particular color that you need. Okay, colors down here, hit D. That will bring your default black and white. X will alternate foreground, background. And I believe that about wraps the toolbars up. Hopefully I didn't mess up too bad. A lot of stuff to go over, and look forward to the next one. We'll see you then.